हम्म। जय राम कुंज विहार जय राम कुंज विहार जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन भज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन भज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन भज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा बनचारी यमुना तीरा बनचारी जय राधा कुंज विहारी जय राधा कुंज विहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी राधा कुंज विहारी जय राधे कुंज विहारी हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम हरे राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा गोपी वल्लभ राधा गोपी वल्लभ जय राधा मदन मोहन राधा मदन मोहन जय जगन्नाथ जगन्नाथ बलदेव जय सुभद्र जय जगन्नाथ जगन्नाथ बलदेव जय सुभद्र जनादस्वामी नयन पत्रामि नयन पत्रामि भवतु मे जगन्नाथस्वामी नयन पत्रामि नयन पत्रामि भवतु मे
క్వశ్చన్ అడిగినరా మేము
स्वामी नयन
ఇస్కాన్ వాళ్ళు
नयन पत्रामि
మీకు ఏమి డిఫరెన్స్ ఏంటి?
स्वामी नयन पतगामी नयन पतगामी भाव तुम्हें निताय गौरांगो निताय गौरांगो निताय गौरांगो गौरहरि निताय गौरांगो निताय गौरांगो निताय गौरांगो गौरहरि जय सचिनंदन जय सचिनंदन गौर हरि, जय सचिनंदन, जय सचिनंदन, जय सचिनंदन गौर हरि, पतित पावन, पतित पावन, पतित पावन गौर हरि। जय जय प्रभुपाद, 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद, जय जय प्रभुपाद, 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद, जय जय गुरुदेव, 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 जय जय गुरुदेव, जय जय गुरुदेव, 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 जय जय गुरुदेव। नित्य गौरा हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, नित्य गौरा हरि बोल, नित्य गौरा हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, नित्य गौरा हरि बोल। भक्त विघ्ननाश नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय, श्री 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 प्रहलाद महाराज की जय, श्री जगन्नाथ प्रभु सुभद्रा माई की जय, श्री राधा गोपी वल्लभ की जय, श्री गौर निताई भगवान की जय। ऐसी भक्ति राम स्वामी जब प्रभुपाद की जय, श्रीमद श्रीमद भागवतम ग्रंथ की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे, ऑल असेंबल्ड डिवोटीज की जय। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरो येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेव श्रीराधा कृष्णपदां सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा, कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम, राम राम, हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायण नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। नमः पंकजनाभाय नमः पंकजमालिने नमः पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजांग्रे। नमो महाबदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः। नमो ब्राह्मण्याय देवाय गौ ब्राह्मणाहिताय च जगद्दिताय कृष्णाय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। नमः ओं विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण प्रश्नाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपहतमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरो दीनतारिणं श्री परमानंद माधवं श्री चैतन्य ईश्वरम्। ओम पवित्रो पवित्रो वा सर्वावस्थं गतोऽपि मा यत् स्मरेत् पुण्डरीकाक्ष सव्याप्यन्तरं सुचे श्री विष्णु श्री विष्णु श्री विष्णु Hare Krishna, Prabhuji's and Mataji's, Dandot Pranam. Thank you for joining.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandavат Pranam.
Rupa Mataji,
Hare
Dandot
Krishna, Prabhuji,
Dandot Pranam.
Hare
Ajanta,
Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavad Pranam.
Hare Krishna, thank
Hare
you.
Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavат Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Dandot Pranam.
Krishna Prabhu, Dandavат Pranam.
Vanilla Mataji, Subhara Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Must have been a very late evening for you yesterday.
Yes, a little late.
Yeah, I still joined in the morning. I'm very grateful. Hare Krishna. Raju Prabhu, Dandot Pranam.
Dandot Pranam, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Uma Mataji, Dandot Pranam. Praveen Prabhu, Dandot Pranam. Thank you all for coming and encouraging.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavат Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Sunil Prabhu, Dandot Pranam. Dandot Pranam, Praveen Prabhuji. Lakshmi Nath Prabhuji, thank you for coming. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavат Pranam.
Dandot Pranam.
Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavad Pranam.
Uma Mataji, Dandot Pranam. Thank you for joining.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavāt Pranam.
Dandot Pranam, Dandot Pranam, Hare Krishna.
వస్తున్నా 6th కి వస్తున్నారు.
Huh?
6th I am coming.
Very well, very happy, bro. We are missing you. Yeah,
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So, I have been given chapter 2 from 33rd shloka. Right? Ajamila, Canto 6, chapter 2, 33rd shloka. Actually, the most nectarian part of the chapter is the first part, which I think is taken by Santosh Aitya Prabhu yesterday. I could not join, I had a morning class itself. But the glories of the holy name are explained here. Actually, the whole chapter in itself is like a japa workshop in itself. You know? Like, why do we chant? What is the result of our chanting? What is the mood of our chanting? How is chanting more greater than any other devotional activity in this age of Kali? And actually in all yugas. How is chanting is more powerful than any yajna? How chanting is more powerful than any other, you know, any other activities you do using the Vedas? How chanting not only relieves us from, you know, from the reactions of the past karma, but how they also change our consciousness so we don't perform those bad activities again. How chanting is a eternally benefiting activity, not a temporary, not an activity which will give us a temporary result for a certain period of time. And we all of us in this call are so fortunate because we all have been introduced to chanting. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. The individuals who have the chanting bag are the most fortunate. The most fortunate are the individuals who have the chanting bag. And the people who don't know the chanting bag are unfortunate. And the people who have the chanting bag but still they are not chanting are the most unfortunate. Really unfortunate. Right? But we are the most fortunate. If we have the chanting bag and we are chanting the holy names every day. And why do we chant? Let us spend a couple of minutes on understanding why do we chant? What is this whole thing all about? Very simple. Our dependence by remembering the Supreme Lord increases. Right? When we think of this life, when we think of the calamities in this life, when we think of all the reversals in this life, we become very sensitive. But in the whole sequence of eternality, this is what we are eternal, we are not this body. then all these tensions look very small. Because one day we are going to leave this body. Whatever you did, whatever you did. But, when you, see, I'm going to mute. Yeah. But whatever, you did, when it's temporary, then why are you taking tension? That's because we recognize this body. But then to recognize that I'm the soul is not that easy when in a bodily conception of life. So that is the reason we take help from the Supreme Lord. When you are remembering the eternal, which is the Supreme Lord, right, and you're always holding him, who is the most eternal, we will also remember that we are also eternal because you're part of him, right? It's very easy to, for a small boat, it's very easy to hold on to a big ship and sail. It's not that the small boat doesn't sail, but when it holds onto a big ship, then it can sail easily. And for sure it will sail. In the same way, the Supreme Lord is eternal. Actually, all of us know that God is eternal. But we don't say God dies. Nobody says that. God dies. We never say that. So we accept that he is eternal. But somewhere we are not accepting that we are also eternal because we are part of him. We are identifying with this material body. So what chanting does is it makes you remember the Supreme Lord again and again and again. The more you chant in a day, the more you'll remember, Arey, I am part of this eternal, right? Why am I taking all these tensions? Why am I going through all these anxieties? I am part of that eternal. And by the way, the eternal is calling me back. That Supreme Lord Krishna, Sarva Karana Karanam, is calling me back. So why should I be in tension? So chanting relieves you of all the fears. Chanting keeps you close to the Supreme Lord. And chanting makes you attached, or rather raises your faith. And so at the time of death, which can come any time, we will remember the Supreme Lord. Without any problem, we'll remember the Supreme Lord. And if we remember the Supreme Lord, Janma Karma Chame Divyam, Evam Nivitatataha, Ketya Deham Punarjanma, Naiti Mamiti Swarchana. There is no Punarjanma. Just by understanding. And his name, when you remember, even your, in a materialistic way, if you remember somebody's name from your college or from your office, you'll immediately remember what all he has done with you, what all you did with him, what all together you have done, what are the good times, what are the bad times, everything you remember. The name itself. In the same way, when you remember Krishna, you remember the Gopala Krishna, the Govinda Krishna, the Sarvabhauma Krishna, the Padmanabha Krishna, the Krishna who is Damodara, right? Krishna who is Vishnu, Krishna who is Rishikesha, Krishna who is Madhusudana, Krishna who is Padmanabha, Krishna who is Vasudeva, right? Madhava. All these names have a pastime attached to them, many pastimes. So remember that Krishna. The name itself is not different from his pastimes. And the name itself is not different from his mercy. The name itself is not different from the dhams, where all we have gone and seen him. If we close our eyes and try to remember every single dham, we'll remember him just by remembering his name. So the name is so powerful. The name is not different from the Supreme Lord. And when we chant that name, we become attached to that name, we increase our faith on that name, and when we increase our faith on that name, we become fearless because we are eternal. So chanting is the best process suggested in the age of Kali. And the Srimad Bhagavatam in this section, Vishnu Dutas are telling to Yamadutas that this person, he has chanted the names of Narayana, Narayana, 4 syllables. Right? And because he has chanted the name of Narayana, how could you even think of taking him? Because Narayana is pleased. Narayana is pleased with the chanting. Who are me and you to decide? Right? And they also know that he did not chant to the God, he was chanting his son's names. But in the beginning part of the chapter, they say that a person who has killed his wife, killed a Brahmana, killed a cow, killed a innocent child, looted somebody, took advantage of his position, did injustice, All such people also, if they chant the name of Narayana, Narayana is pleased. Because Narayana likes to give another opportunity. He likes to give another opportunity to his devotees so that they can come back to us. See, chanting increases the faith and makes you understand your current position. Chanting opens the gates for realizations. Chanting, why? Because when you chant, Lord is pleased. We chant for his pleasure. And that is why chanting is more powerful than any other activity suggested to the Vedas, right? A lot of people, they ask this famous question. There is this famous question, right? What is the most famous question in people when they come to spirituality? Anybody? We spent 2 sessions in RSS only for that question.
Who is God?
Well, who is God? Yeah, definitely one of the questions. Yeah, who is God also 2 sessions. But just before that,
Karma series.
why do bad things happen to good people?
I don't know.
Isn't it?
Does God exist, Prabhuji?
Huh?
Does God exist?
Yeah, but most time that we spend is on these 2 questions. Why do bad things happen to good people? And a lot of people, they reject spirituality because they don't see any meaning in it. See, one of the good answers that you can give to such people is, if you see this world as a place of enjoyment, then you can ask the question, why do bad things happen to good people? But if you see this world as a place of experience, a place where you're going to learn, then whatever bad happens to you, you will see that as an experience. So how you see the world creates the perception towards this world, isn't it? For example, if you go to a college and they give assignments and they give exams and they give so much work to do, you have to study so much. If you think that the college is for my enjoyment, I am going to this college to enjoy, then all those assignments, those exams, those studies, classes will become a torture for you. And you will reject them. But if you see that I have come to college to experience and learn, then all those assignments and exams will become more meaningful. Isn't it? In the same way, Prabhuji and Mataji's, when you see that this world has been created for us to experience and to elevate our consciousness, then chanting becomes more meaningful. Otherwise, you cannot. Why do we think we take all those 12 sessions long with so much philosophy? So that people will be attracted to chanting. Dependence. They should understand their current position. They should understand their current position. Then they want to change their position. If you don't understand your current position, why would you want to change your position? People are already satisfied. Array, I'm good, I'm doing good. Why should I change my position? So here the Vishnu Dutas are explaining the Yamadutas that your superior, Yamaraj, very well understands what is dharma and adharma. But we never expected you to come and do this on his behalf. How could you come and take Ajamila? He's somebody who has chanted the names of God and those, and the God has sent all of us. We have come here to take him. So please, this is not your jurisdiction. So you can go and inform to your superior, Yamaraj. So the shloka at which we are starting is shloka number 33. I would suggest everyone to read this chapter again, right from the beginning, right? So that, or maybe, because it will take only 5 to 6 minutes, I'm just going to read the translations of this chapter. Just the translation. It will take. Please be attentive to get a context of what is happening. The chapter name is Ajamila delivered by the Vishnu Dutas. Text 1. I'll read one shloka also and translation. I'll just keep reading, and then at shloka number 33 onwards, we'll again continue. For anyone who wants to hear the previous class, which was detailed explanation of all the shlokas, you can hear Santosh Ayatha Prabhu's class yesterday. श्रीभद्रायण इर्वाच एवं ते भगवद्दूता यमदूताभिभाषितम् उप उपधर्यात् तान् राजन् प्रत्याहुर्नय कोविडा. Sukadeva Goswami said, "My dear king, the servants of Lord Vishnu are always very expert in logic and arguments. After hearing the statements of the Yamadutas, they replied as follows." So Yamadutas told, "Hey, this is sinful fellow. That's the reason we came to take him." So now they are going to talk. Text 2. The Vishnuduta said, "Alas, how painful it is that irreligion is being introduced into an assembly where religion should be maintained. Indeed, those in charge of maintaining the religious principles are needlessly punishing a sinless, unpunishable person." Please be attentive. I'm going to read fatafat. So, you miss the context. So they're saying he's not supposed to be punished. And how situation? You're supposed to be dharma representatives. You're punishing somebody who is innocent. Text 3. A king or governmental official should be well qualified that he acts as a father, maintainer, and protector of the citizens because of affection and love. He should give the citizens good advice and instructions according to the standard scriptures and should be equal to everyone. Yamaraj does this, for he is the supreme master of justice, and so do those who follow his footsteps. However, if such persons become polluted and exhibit partiality by punishing an innocent, blameless person, where will the citizens go to take shelter for their maintenance and security? You see, they are like telling, "Hey, you are representing your Lord wrongly. He is depending on you. You are coming here and doing injustice." They are telling to Yamadutas. The mass of people follow the example of a leader in society and imitate his behavior. They accept as evidence whatever the leader accepts. This shloka is also there in third chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Yadyad acharati shrestha tattat devataro jana isayat pranamam kurte lokastad anvartate. Almost the same shloka, Lord Krishna spoke in Bhagavad Gita, is being repeated by the Vishnu Dutas here with little different line, but the meaning is almost same. Yadyad acharati shreyan, where it is shreshtas. Right? Itarastat tad ihate sayat pranamam kurte lokastad anvartate. Text 5 and 6. People in general are not very advanced in knowledge by which to discriminate between religion and irreligion. The innocent, unenlightened citizen is like an ignorant animal sleeping in peace with his head on the lap of his master, faithfully believing in the master's protection. If a leader is actually kind-hearted and deserves to be the object of a living entity's faith, how can he punish or kill a foolish person who has fully surrendered in good faith and friendship? Just imagine a person who has done so many bad things, chanted the name of Narayan, and Narayan has brought him into a cadre of a fully surrendered person with full faith and friendship. And Prabhupada explains later on in the purport that if a person has been so sinful and unknowingly he has chanted the holy name also, if Supreme Lord is considering to be surrendered, then what about the devotees of International Society of Krishna Consciousness, right? Or all other Vaishnavas and other Sampradayas, when they chant the names of God with faith, with prayerfulness, don't you think the Lord will take care of them? Obviously, he'll take care. Ajamila has already atoned for all his sinful actions. Indeed, he has atoned not only from sins performed in one life, but for those performed in millions of lives. For in a helpless condition, he chanted the holy name of Narayana. Even though he did not chant purely, he chanted without offense. And therefore, he is now pure and eligible for liberation. Hare Krishna. This is a big purport where Prabhupada explains from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur the glories of chanting. Text 8. The Vishnu Dutas continued, even previously, while eating at other times, this Ajamila would call his son saying, "Oh, my dear Narayana, please come here." Although calling the name of his son, he nevertheless uttered the 4 syllables Narayana. Simply by chanting the name of Narayana in this way, he sufficiently atoned for the sinful reactions of millions of lives. Text 9 and 10. The chanting of the holy name of Lord Vishnu is the best process of atonement for a thief of gold or other valuables, for a drunkard, for one who betrays a friend or relative. See the sins. Just by chanting, what all we get relieved from. I'll start again. The chanting of the holy name of Lord Vishnu is the best process of atonement for a thief of gold or other valuables, for a drunkard, for one who betrays a friend or relative, for one who kills a brahmana, or for one who indulges in sex with the wife of his guru or another superior. It is also best method of atonement for one who murders woman, the king or his father, for one who slaughters cows, for all other sinful men. Simply by chanting the holy name of Lord Vishnu, such sinful persons may attract the attention of the Supreme Lord, who therefore considers, because this man has chanted my holy name, my duty is to give him protection. Hare Krishna. What an assurance. Text 11. By following the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies or undergoing atonement, sinful men do not become as purified as by chanting once the holy name of Lord Hari. Although ritualistic atonement may free one from sinful reactions, it does not awaken devotional service, unlike the chanting of the Lord's names, which reminds one of the Lord's fame, qualities, attributes, pastimes, and paraphernalia. Let's see, here is being told very clearly, like what we were discussing previously. You do any other yajna, any other meditation, you will not become purified from within. But when you chant the holy names, you will become purified within, because you will remember the Lord's fame, qualities, attributes, pastimes, and all the paraphernalia. Text 12. The ritualistic ceremonies of atonement recommended in the religious scriptures are insufficient. See, the whole Vedas, the ritualistic part is insufficient. Word is insufficient to cleanse the heart. Absolutely. Because after atonement, one's mind again runs towards materialistic activities. Consequently, for one who wants liberation from the fruitive activities of material activities, the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra or glorification of the name, fame, and pastimes of the Lord is recommended as the most perfect process of atonement, because such chanting eradicates the dirt from one's heart completely. So, Prabhuji, is what we are doing in satsangs by attending these online classes or attending in person in the center or in our houses is the highest process. Don't think we are doing some devotional activity. Don't be in that assumption. We are not doing some devotional activity. We are doing the highest devotional activity. For all the devotees who are conducting satsangs in your house is the real temple. Not the temple where there is a bell and some brahmana is running around with a lamp. That is also a temple. But the real temple is the place where the names, the activities of the Lord are always repeated, chanted. That is a main temple. Right? Everybody who is doing 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, your houses have become temples. Because that place is more powerful than any other temple built with marble or stone or anything. Where there is no chanting, there is no preaching, there is no sharing, there is no prasadam. So devotee's house is very powerful. Text 13. At the time of death, this Ajamila helplessly and very loudly chanted the holy name of the Lord Narayana. That chanting alone has already freed him from the reactions of all sinful life. Therefore, O servants of Yamaraja, do not try to take him to your master for punishment in hellish conditions. Text 14. One who chants the holy name of the Lord is immediately freed from the reactions of unlimited sins, even if he chants indirectly. See, this is one of my favorite slokas. I had heard this. Let me read the sloka also. Sanketyam parihasyam va sthobam helanam evacha vaikunta nama grahanam asheshaga haram vidhu. What is the meaning? One who chants the holy name of the Lord is immediately freed from the reactions of unlimited sins. Unlimited sins. Even if it chants indirectly to indicate something else, like Narayana, Krishna, you are calling somebody indirectly. Or jokingly, if somebody is ridiculing you Hare Krishna, why do you do all this? Even he will get the benefit because he told Hare Krishna. For musical entertainment, people who do kirtan, there are a lot of devotees who do kirtan, but there are also non-devotees who do kirtan. Just for musical like there is one drunkard person who drinks a lot. He is very famous for singing bhajans in North India. And he sings a lot of, bhajans and he chants. He'll also get the benefit. Right? Or even neglectfully. Okay, I'm chanting, but I'm not focusing. Even they'll get the benefit. Prabhuji's, these are not licenses, of course. But Lord, Vishnu Dutas are glorifying the mercy of Lord, that the Lord is ready to deliver. You can see how desperate Krishna is to deliver all of us, how desperate he is. Any little indication he sees here and there, he wants to pull us. Right? This is accepted by all learned scholars of scriptures. Text 15. If one chants the holy name of Hari and then dies because of an accidental misfortune, such as falling down from the top of a house, slipping and suffering broken bones while traveling on the road, being bitten by a serpent, being afflicted with pain and high fever, or being injured by a weapon, one is immediately absolved from having to enter hellish life, even though he is sinful. Text 16. Authorities who are learned scholars and sages have carefully ascertained that one should atone from the heaviest sins by undergoing a heavy process of atonement, and one should atone for lighter sins by undergoing lighter atonement. Chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, however, vanquishes all the effects of sinful activities, regardless of whether they're heavy or light. So, Chota Puja, Bada Puja, Sara Bada Chota Puja is cleared when you do one mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Text 17. Although one may neutralize the reactions of sinful life through austerity, charity, vows, and other such methods, these pious activities cannot uproot the material desires in one's heart. However, if one serves the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is immediately freed from all such contaminations. Hare Krishna. Anything else, no other seva is better than chanting. And when you do chanting, automatically do all the sevas also. Right? You'll do charity also. You'll do all kinds of physical austerities also if you start chanting. Text 18. As a fire burns dry grass to ashes, so the holy name of the Lord, whether chanted knowingly or unknowingly, burns to ashes. Without fail, all the reactions of one's sinful activities. The chanting is so powerful. We can see in ISKCON itself, so many people come with so many conditionings. They come and they start chanting, and suddenly their whole nature changes. Of course, nature takes more time, but their habits change, their priorities change. How many of you are attending Bhagavatam class in your life before? Now you're attending. Right? So many changes. You don't know what is happening. Without your awareness, all the changes happening. Right? That is the glories of the holy name. Chanting. Text 19. If a person unaware of the effective potency of a certain medicine takes that medicine or is forced to take it, it will act even without his knowledge because its potency does not depend on the patient's understanding. Similarly, even though one does not know the value of chanting the holy name of the Lord, if one chants knowingly or unknowingly, the chanting will be effective. Many times one devotee in our satsang asks me a question. Prabhuji, people are chanting for such a long time, 20 years also. Why they are not changing? Why they are behaving so badly? Why they are, why they are speaking bad things? Why they are not behaving like devotees, even though they are chanting for 20 years? Tell me, can anyone answer? Here it is being told that all the sinful reactions are removed by chanting. Everything is done. Why they are doing all that? Why do you see devotees doing so many wrong things? And then,
10 offenses to
Intensity of
the holy name.
physical.
what is it?
Chanting should be done in a proper way.
Yeah, but here is being told, even if you don't do in proper mood, I'll take care of it.
They passed to Nivritti Prabhu.
Well, all your sins are removed. It's being told, you chant holy name Narayana, Hare Krishna, and everything is gone.
It's a process, Prabhu, not immediate.
The
There is
dirt
a
on the analogy,
It's an analogy, not
it-
true.
Prabhuji, its analogy is like some people has lot of dirt and when they, as long as they are in the shower,
Then
they
we have not
are.
understood. Then we have not understood the verses I've read so far. Very clearly they are saying, Hare, your millions of lives, everything is gone just by chanting Narayana name. We are chanting Hare Krishna 16 rounds every day. 2 hours we are chanting. Some devotees are doing. Why they are still behaving like that? Why?
They do not. They did not realize the Atma. That is the reason.
Here it's being told, even if you do it jokingly, meaning forget about realization, even do it jokingly. Still
We
if
have one of the offenses, no Prabhuji, on the strength of the holy name, we cannot do bad activities, thinking that we will chant and still our sins will be gone.
This is very close to that. She already gave it, but a little more. Simple. Chanting is like offing the switch. Tuck, you off the switch. Fan should stop. But does it stop? You don't stop the fan. You keep going with the sinful activities again and again and again. Right? We do Namaparad. There are 10 offenses to the holy names. We continue to do those offenses. You do Vaishnava Parad. You do Dhama Parad. You do Satsanga Parad. Right? You do continue so many Parad. How will you get the result of chanting? Right? It should be offenseless chanting. Meaning at least don't continue to do. You will get, see, if you start chanting, all the reactions are gone. Till now. Whatever number of bodies you have gone through, all the things are gone. But problem is you chant also, and then you do all nonsense also. We do all nonsense also. And because we continue to do the nonsense, the reactions of that keep continuing day after day. So it's like an elephant path, right? Very famous example. Elephant, it goes to the river, takes bath for 2 hours, like we do chanting for 2 hours. Then it comes out and puts dirt again. All nonsense we speak, all nonsense we eat. I'll go to this place, that place, eat food that is not offered to God. Then what will happen? Why is my chanting not? Why is my chanting not? Because you are eating all those things. They are not as faithful. Why some devotees in the temple are so bright, effulgent, and fixed in their consciousness? They never fall from any regulative principle. They are so strong because they are honoring only Prasadam. Their tongue doesn't touch anything except Prasadam. Right? That is good. They are following and they are also chanting. They are chanting in the Brahma Muhurta, staying in the temple. So they are very fixed. They're soldiers. Right? But when we are outside, we should be more careful. We should not become more lenient. Actually, it becomes reverse. They are in the temple, protected, but we are outside the temple, unprotected. So what will happen? How will our chanting work? Chanting is working, but you are not working. That is the problem. You are not working on fixing your lifestyle. You are not working fixing your consciousness. We are continuing to do the offenses. So again you chant. Now thinking that, like Shilpa Mataji told, like thinking that I'm chanting and cutting my offenses is an offense itself. You're not using chanting like a soap to scrub the cloths and remove the dirt. No. Of course, chanting does the Cheto Darpana Marjanam, Bhava Mahadvavagni Nirvapana. So it is cleaning the mirror of your heart. But you don't use it like a cleaner. So you can put dirt again. That's not the point. So here, it's being told very clearly, the potency is there. Even if you don't understand the glories of the chanting, even if you chant, it works. Just like a medicine, it works by taking the medicine. Whether you have faith in it or you don't have faith. A person in coma, he doesn't even know what medicine is being given to him. Right? A person in coma doesn't know what medicine is being given to him, but the medicine works, yes or no? It works. So if the medicine works for a person in coma, then what about the person in kama? We are all in kama, right? And we are chanting Hare Krishna mantra. Doesn't it work? It works. But the problem is, it is working, but we are not working. We are not working for God. We are working for our senses. Text 20. Shri Sukadeva Goswami continued, My dear king, having thus perfectly judged the principles of devotion service with reasoning and arguments, the order carriers of Lord Vishnu released the Brahmana Ajamila from the bondage of the Imadutas and saved him from imminent death. Hare Krishna. Text 21. My dear Maharaj Parikshit, O subduer of all enemies, after the servants of Yamaraja had been answered by the order carriers of Lord Vishnu, they went to Yamaraja and explained to him everything that had happened. Text 22. Having been released from the noses of Yamaraja's servants, the Brahmana Ajamila, now free from fear, came to his senses and immediately offered obeisances to the Vishnudutas by bowing his head at their lotus feet. He was extremely pleased by their presence, for he had seen them save his life from the hands of the servants of Yamaraj. So now he saw both Yamaraj, Yamaduta servants and Vishnuduta servants. Ajamil, he understood, and then he saw, and then immediately paid obeisances. Now, just before he says, like, O sinless Maharaj Parikshit, the order carriers of the Supreme Person of God, the Vishnudutas, saw that Ajamil was attempting to say something, and thus they suddenly disappeared from his presence. Right? Because the message is conveyed. Why there has to be another discussion? He has heard the conversation between Yamadutas and Vishnudutas, and he has heard what Vishnudutas are telling. The chanting has cleared so much. So now what he is supposed to do? He is supposed to chant. That's it. So they left. The message is conveyed. Now, text 24 and 25. After hearing the discourses between Yamadutas and Vishnudutas, Ajamila could understand the religious principles that act under the three modes of material nature. These principles are mentioned in the three Vedas. He could also understand the transcendental religious principles which are above the modes of material nature, which concern the relationship between the living being and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Furthermore, Ajamila heard glorification of the name, fame, qualities, and pastimes of Supreme Personality of Godhead. He thus became a perfectly pure devotee. He could then remember his past sinful activities, and which he greatly regretted having performed. Ajamila said, Alas, being a servant of my senses, how degraded I became. I fell down from a position as a duly qualified Brahmana and begot children in the womb of a prostitute. So he is saying how degraded I have become, how I fell down from what I am. Rose and Mataji, one thing that we should learn from this shloka is every one of us here is also pure as the Supreme Lord, because we are part of Him. In quantity we are less, but in quality we are as pure, the same pure. If you take one glass of water from a pot, that water is also as pure as the water in the pot. But the problem is what? We have become contaminated. And if we remove the contamination, then automatically we become pure again. So even though, he has fallen, how degraded I have done, he is remembering, actually is pure. Why, how degraded he has become. So we should also not lose hope. The most important, not lose hope. We are pure, become impure. We are not impure trying to become pure. We are pure, trying to become pure again. Eternally we are pure. Always we have been pure. But we are trying to become pure again because little impurity has come. We should not think, oh, I am totally fallen, I am impure, I am trying to become pure. No, you are originally pure. That is what you should understand from this shloka. Text 27. Alas, all condemnation upon me. I acted so sinfully that I degraded my family tradition. Indeed, I gave up my chaste and beautiful young wife to have sexual intercourse with a fallen prostitute accustomed to drinking wine. All condemnation upon me. He realized, what I have done. What all sins I have done. It actually comes. Actually, many Krishna conscious devotees, one mark of their advancement is they become ashamed of themselves and they become silent. So sometimes they just become silent. That is actually mark of advancement. I'm not telling become silent in satsang. Don't tell Hare Krishna. No, I'm saying become silent from within. And when you actually start regretting for what we are, what we were, and what all we have done since, but because when the floor is clean, you see all the dirt. When you're chanting, you see all the dirt coming out. So don't become hopeless, because I told, what did I tell previously? That we are pure, trying to become pure again. So there is no question of hopelessness. We were pure, so we can become pure again. But a regretfulness will come. What is this? But sometimes a false assurance also comes to Maya, saying that it's okay, it happens. Everybody commits sin, so I also committed sin. So what is the big deal? I think one day I'll become pure again. But I'll continue to commit my sins. I don't think I have to work on my sins. I have to work on just chanting. No, that is also wrong. You should work on both. You should work on your controlling your sins also. you should work on increasing your chanting also. Both should have. Right? Then only spiritual life will go forward. You can't tell that I'll only focus on do's. I'll not focus on don'ts at all. Of course, to new people we tell that just focus on do's. But after some time, you should tell, Arey Baba, focus on don'ts also. And the biggest do is to stay in association. And the biggest don't is to leave the association. 28. My father and mother were old and had no other son or friend to look after them. Because they did not take care of them, they lived with great difficulty. Alas, like an abominable lower class man, I ungratefully left them in that condition. 29. It is now clear that as a consequence of such activities, a sinful person like me must be thrown into hellish conditions meant for those who have broken regulative principles and must there suffer extreme miseries. Now he is saying, I deserve to be punished. Why did Vishnu Dutas come? I deserve to be punished. He is regretful. Now, regretful and grateful. Grateful that Vishnu Dutas was come. Text 30. Was this a dream I saw? Because both of them are gone. Both of them have gone, right? Now, on one side, Yamadutas came, they also left. And other side, Vishnudutas came, they also left. So suddenly, was it a dream? Was this a dream I saw? Or was it reality? I saw fearsome men with ropes in their hands coming to arrest me and drag me away. Where have they gone? They have all disappeared. Text 31. And where have those 4 liberated and very beautiful persons gone who released me from the arrest and saved me from being dragged down to the hellish regions? Text 32. I am certainly most abominable and unfortunate to have merged in an ocean of sinful activities. But nevertheless, because of my previous spiritual activities, I could see that those 4 exalted personalities who came to rescue me. Now I feel exceedingly happy because of their visit. Now he is understanding what would have brought them here. Because Ajamila was actually a very pure Brahmana. And he was taking care of his family. Everything was nice until he became servant of his senses. He got tempted looking at a very unchaste woman and he wanted to enjoy her, married a prostitute basically, and then tried to satisfy. So he started remembering everything. Then he I should do some things in the past. And maybe that is the reason the Supreme Lord has become merciful. He's not feeling eligible. Don't think, I've done chanting, so I'm eligible. Nobody's eligible for anything. But understand, if anything good is happening in your life, it's because of your chanting. And because your chanting is accepted by Supreme Lord, those good things are happening. So that's what he felt. Now we are reading text number 33. Here on, I'll try to read the sloka also, translation, purport also, right? Is the time? Yes. Anyatha mriya manasya nashucher vrasalipate vaikunta nama grahanam jihva vaktum iharhati. Where it not be my past devotion service, how could I, a most unclean keeper of a prostitute, have gotten an opportunity to chant the holy name of Vaikuntapati when I was just ready to die? Certainly, it could not have been possible. So now he's being grateful. Now the gratefulness is very important, brothers. Because from gratefulness starts bhakti. A person who is not grateful can never practice bhakti. Remember this, gratefulness. What is my Shiksha Guru doing for me? What are the Satsang members doing for me? What is this community doing for me? What are these festivals doing for me? What is the chanting of the holy name doing for me? You should be grateful. If you're not grateful, you're going to leave Satsang. Right? I'll ask you one question. Who is better among these two? Right? Who is better among these two? A materialistic person who is in mode of goodness, who is very nice with you, or a devotee who is in mode of ignorance, who is doing all wrong things? Who is better?
Devotee.
No answer? Did you hear my question? I'll repeat again.
Which it is materialistic person.
A materialistic person who is in mode of goodness, who is very nice with you, is he good in your life? or a practicing devotee who has all faults in him is in mode of ignorance? Who is better?
Materialistic person.
Person.
Huh?
Second Prabhu.
Materialistic person.
No, you did not.
Second Prabhu. Devotee Prabhu.
Devotee, even though he is in mode of ignorance, he is still practicing the right thing. A materialistic person, he might be in mode of goodness. ఏమండి బాగున్నారా, మంచిగా ఉన్నారండి, మీరు చాలా మంచి మనిషి అండి. These all things he'll tell. But he'll keep you in this material world. A devotee who is struggling in his spiritual life, he might be doing something wrong because of his past karma. He's not a bad person. Don't hate the deceased, hate the disease. Don't hate a devotee because he's behaving wrongly. Hate the reasons why he's behaving wrongly, because of his past karma, past habits. But he's still rightly situated. Who is telling this? I'm not telling this. In 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is telling this. A person who is totally sinful, but he is on path coming back to me, is better than anybody else. Even though he's sinful, he's to be considered saintly, because at least he's rightly situated. A person who is coming to satsang is more purer than somebody who does unlimited charity outside and tries to be in mode of goodness, because he is not surrendering to the Supreme Lord. Prabhuji, ఎవరెవరైతే సత్సంగ్ వస్తున్నారో బండ మీద రాసుకోండి, ఎవరెవరు సత్సంగ్ వస్తున్నారో వాళ్ళే మీ శ్రేయోభిలాషులు. Anybody who's come to satsang are the only well-wishers you have. Don't see any well-wisher outside satsang, because they will look like well-wishers, but their well-wishing is all temporary, and the well-wishing is all conditional. Eventually you will know. If you're seeing a devotee in the satsang behaving wrongly, doing wrong things, that is still good, because he has come to the satsang. అర్థమైందా అందరికి? మాయలో పడకండి. Don't fall into maya that, sometimes some people come and tell me, Prabhuji, sometimes you're looking at all devotees, Prabhuji, I feel that, all politics in ISKCON, Prabhuji, all politics here, Prabhuji, I think outside people are better than people who are practicing. Nonsense, what are you speaking? Yeah, externally it might seem like that. Outside people are behaving nicely and they are more truthful, more obedient, more transparent. But ISKCON devotees, they are doing this. They are ISKCON devotees. Don't look at it they are coming to satsang. Somewhere they are attending a satsang. But if you are a ISKCON devotee not attending satsangs, you are not being in association, you are not taking association to it, then you are very dangerous. Those people you should avoid. But if a devotee is coming to satsang, he has faults in him. He is cheating devotees. He is misbehaving sometimes with devotees. But he still is coming to satsang. He is a saintly person.
ప్రభుజీ ఆ ఒక్క క్రైటీరియా తోటి మనం యాక్సెప్ట్ చేయాలంటారా?
ఒక్క క్రైటీరియా చాలు, ఇంకేం కావాలి చెప్పండి. ఒకటే క్రైటీరియా, సత్సంగ్ వస్తున్నాడు
అంటే మనం ఏం నేర్చుకుంటున్నట్టు ఆయన దగ్గర నుంచి?
మీరు ఆయన దగ్గర నుంచి నేర్చుకునేది ఏంటంటే మిమ్మల్ని కూడా ఎట్లా అందరు భరిస్తున్నారు.
అర్థం కాలేదు ప్రభుజీ.
నేను ఆయనను భరిస్తున్నాను మీరు అనుకుంటున్నారు, మిమ్మల్ని ఎంతమంది భరిస్తున్నారు సత్సంగి?
అలాగా ప్రభుజీ, ఇప్పుడు ఒక మనిషి ఏమీ లేదు, ఓన్లీ డివోటీ, బోల్డ్ ఫాల్ట్స్ ఉన్నాయి, కేవలం సత్సంగానికి వస్తున్నాడని యాక్సెప్ట్ చేయడం. బయట మెటీరియలిస్టిక్ పర్సన్, అతను గోల్ లేదు, ఎండ్ గోల్ లేదు, కానీ చేసే ఎన్ని మంచి పనులు. మనం ఎవరిని చూసి ఇన్స్పైర్ అవుతాం? అతను చూసి ఇన్స్పైర్ అవుతాం కదా. మెటీరియలిస్టిక్ పర్సన్ చేసే ఎన్ని మంచి పనులే. ఇప్పుడు డివోటీ అని ఒక పేరు.
కానీ మంచి పని పరిభాష ఏంటి? మంచి పని మనం ఏం చేయాలి?
బట్ మనకి తెలుసు కదా ప్రభుజీ, మనము సత్సంగాలకు వస్తున్నాము అంటే మనకి రైట్ రాంగ్ అన్న డిఫరెన్సియేషన్ తెలుసు కదా.
అది సింపుల్ థింగ్. మీరు ఈ ప్రపంచంలో ఉందాం అనుకుంటున్నారా, బాగుంటుంది దగ్గర పోదాం అనుకుంటున్నారా?
ఉండాలనుకోవట్లేదు.
ఎక్కడ పోదాం అనుకుంటున్నారు?
గోలోక
పోదాం అనుకుంటున్నారా? ఈ ప్రపంచంలో ఉన్న వాళ్ళందరూ కూడా, ఈ ప్రపంచంలో మంచి చెడు చేసే వాళ్ళందరూ కూడా మిమ్మల్ని ఈ ప్రపంచంలో ఉంచుతారు.
బట్ ప్రభుజీ, మనకి ఇప్పుడు ఇస్కాన్ లోకి వచ్చిన తర్వాత ఇది మంచి, ఇది చెడు, మనం ఇట్లా ఉండాలి అని మనకు ఒక ఐడియా ఉంది. ఇప్పుడు ఈ సిచ్యువేషన్ లో మీరు చెప్పినట్టు డివోటీ ఎలా అన్నా ఉండనియండి, డివోటీనే కరెక్ట్, బయట మెటీరియలిస్టిక్ పర్సన్ కరెక్ట్ కాదంటారు. కానీ మనకి గోల్ ఏంటి అనేది మనకు ఒక ఐడియా ఉంది కదా. ఇది మీరు స్టార్టింగ్ లో మనకి ఏ నాలెడ్జ్ లేదన్నప్పుడు ఓకే, వాట్ ఎవర్ ఇట్ ఈస్, ఫాలో ఏ డివోటీ అన్నది బానే ఉంది. ఇప్పుడు మనకి ఇది మంచి ఇది చెడు అని తెలిసినప్పుడు ఇంకా ఇదే ఎన్ని తప్పులు చేసినా డివోటీనే ఫాలో అవుతూ ఉండాలా?
డివోటీని ఫాలో అవ్వమనట్లేదు, డివోటీని రెస్పెక్ట్ చేయమని.
యాక్సెప్ట్ చేయమంటున్నారు మీరు, డివోటీని యాక్సెప్ట్ చేయండి అంటున్నారు.
దే ఆర్ బెటర్ దెన్ మెటలిస్టిక్ పీపుల్ బికాజ్ ఎట్ ఈస్ దే ఆర్ కమింగ్ టు సత్సంగ్.
ఏమో ప్రభుజీ.
ఏమో కాదు మాతజీ, ఒక విషయం నేను అడుగుతాను. మన శరీరానికి ఏది మంచో ఏది చెడో మనకు తెలుసు,
అవును.
అవునా? మీ ఒంటింట్లో మైదా ఉందా?
ఉంది.
ఎందుకు ఉంది? తెలియదా మంచిది కాదని?
అప్పుడప్పుడు అకేషనల్ గా యూస్ చేస్తాం, రెగ్యులర్ గా యూస్ మంచిది కాదు కాబట్టి అకేషనల్ గా యూస్ చేస్తున్నాము.
అట్లాంటప్పుడు నేను మీ ఇంటికి వచ్చి తినాలా తినొద్దా?
తింటారు. వచ్చిన వాళ్ళకి పెట్టం కదా మనం, ఇది మంచిది వచ్చిన వాళ్ళకి ఇది మంచిది కాదు అన్నప్పుడు అది పెట్టం కదా. అది
పెట్టరు. కానీ మీ ఇంటికి వచ్చి నేను తినాలా తినొద్దా? నీకు పెట్టాలి, అరే మీ ఇంట్లో మైదా ఉంది నేను రాను, తప్పు కదా అట్లా నేను అనుకోవటం. మీరేమన్నారు, మీకు వచ్చినప్పుడు నేను అట్లా పెట్టనని అంటున్నారు, కానీ మీ ఇంట్లో మైదా ఉంది, అవునా? సారీ, పర్సనల్ టెలింగ్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్. అదే విధంగా మన సత్సంగంలో ఎవరైనా చిన్న చిన్న తప్పులు చేస్తున్నప్పుడు, అరే వాళ్ళకి అలవాటు ఉండే ఇంకా దానివల్ల తప్పులు చేస్తున్నారు, కానీ వాళ్ళ ఉద్దేశం మనకు సర్వ్ చేయటం, వాళ్ళ ఉద్దేశం అక్కడ వచ్చేది సేవ చేయడానికి. దే ఆర్ బెటర్ దెన్ పీపుల్ హూ ఆర్ ఈటింగ్ దట్ మైదా అండ్ సర్వింగ్ మైదా అవుట్ సైడ్. ఆ బయట వాళ్ళకు ఆ ఆలోచన లేదు. బయట మంచిగా ఉండటం ఏముంది మాతాజీ దాంట్లో యూనో బై బీయింగ్ నైస్ విత్ అదర్ పీపుల్, దే ఆర్ జస్ట్ కీపింగ్ దోస్ పీపుల్ దేర్, దట్స్ ఆల్. Materialistic people are the people who don't want to go back to God. They want to enjoy this world. వాళ్ళు ఈ ప్రపంచాన్ని ఎంజాయ్ చేద్దాం అనుకుంటున్నారు. they'll go to astrologer, they'll go to తిరుపతి, గుండు కూడా గీయించుకుంటారు, కానీ భగవంతుని దగ్గర సరెండర్ గారు. those people are very dangerous. But the people who are coming to satsang, even though they have all the faults, they are far better because they have at least they've started the work. వాళ్ళు పని స్టార్ట్ చేశారు. ఏంటి? ఓకే, నేను ఇప్పుడు సత్సంగానికి వెళ్తాను, నేను ఇక్కడి నుంచి పైకి వెళ్తాను, ఇక్కడి నుంచి భగవంతుని దగ్గరికి వెళ్తాను. దే ఆర్ అట్లీస్ట్ స్టార్టెడ్ ద ఎఫర్ట్. మాయ ఎక్కడున్నది? మాయ అక్కడే ఉంది. త్రైగుణ్య విషయవేద నిష్త్రైగుణ్యో భావర్జున. కృష్ణ ఇస్ టెలింగ్, ఈ త్రైగుణాల నుంచి పైకి పో అంటే త్రైగుణాలు ఏమున్నాయి? సత్వగుణం కూడా త్రైగుణాలనే ఉంది. ఈవెన్ గుణ గుడ్నెస్ ఇస్ దేర్ ఇన్ ద త్రిగుణాస్. సింగ్, రైజ్ యువర్ సెల్ఫ్ అబౌవ్ and go and take shelter of somebody who can pull you out of this. So you can see, I'm not telling go outside and see all your materialists. No, we should try to see good in everyone, but follow the person who comes to the satsang and you be in the satsang. Because a lot of people, I'll tell you, they'll leave ISKCON on this one principle. That is the reason I brought it up today. They'll simply leave this ISKCON or good by the అరే ఏందండి ఇంతమంది సత్సంగంలో ఉండి కూడా ఇట్లా చేస్తున్నారు, బయట మంచిగా ఉన్నారు. అదే కదా మాయ. మాయ ఎక్కడ కూర్చున్నది? అక్కడే కూర్చొని ఉన్నది. ఇట్ ఈస్ షోయింగ్ ప్యూరిటీ ఇన్ పీపుల్ హూ హ్యావ్ నథింగ్ టు డూ విత్ గాడ్. దే విల్ యూజ్ గాడ్, దే డోంట్ వాంట్ టు బి యూజ్డ్ బై గాడ్. వాళ్ళు భగవంతుని వాడుకుంటారు. అక్షయ తృతీయ రోజు బంగారం కొని ఇంట్లో శుభం. ఆ బంగారం కొని టెంపుల్ ఏమనండి? అక్షయ తృతీయ రోజు బంగారం కొని టెంపుల్కి వెళ్ళిపోయి, అమ్మ రాధారాణి మెడలో ఇది ఏమని చెప్పండి, ఇస్తారా? అంటే వాళ్ళ భగవంతుడితో సంబంధం లేదు. వాళ్ళు అన్ని తృతీయాలు పాటిస్తారు, ఏకాదశి కూడా పాటిస్తారు, ఇలా ఏకాదశి కూడా పాటిస్తారు, కానీ వాళ్ళకి భక్తి లేదు. భక్తి కావాలన్న ఉద్దేశం కూడా లేదు. ఉద్దేశం చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్. కానీ భక్తుల పరిస్థితి ఏంటంటే, డివోటీస్ ఆర్ ద పీపుల్ who started chanting and listening to their guru. బాబు చాంటింగ్ చేయి స్టార్ట్ చేసింది, పట్టుకున్నారు చాంటింగ్, హరే కృష్ణ హరే ప్రభుజీ అన్ని అలవాటు, ఛాయ్ తాగుతాం ప్రభు, పర్లేదు చాంటింగ్ స్టార్ట్ చేయండి చాంట్. దే ఆర్ లిజనింగ్ టు హూమ్? టు ద ఆర్డర్స్ ఆఫ్ గాడ్. దే ఆర్ ఫార్ బెటర్. ఎనీ డే దే ఆర్ బెటర్. And why am I telling this principle is also that when you come to satsang, you know why people leave satsang? Because they start seeing faults in devotees. And Krishna doesn't like this. అరే నేను ఎంతో కష్టపడి ఒక వ్యక్తిని సత్సంగం తీసుకొస్తే నువ్వెవర్రా బాబు అక్కడ కూర్చొని ఆ డివోటీలో కూడా ఫాల్ట్ చూసి తన మీద మాట్లాడడానికి? Of course, as a Siksha Guru, as a person running the satsang, sometimes You have to take that role of seeing that faults and correcting that faults, and sometimes even discussing that faults with that person. But everybody else should not. They should not. We are in a hospital. Satsang is a hospital. ఇక్కడికి వచ్చిన వాళ్ళందరూ వచ్చిండ్రు, అది ఇంపార్టెంట్. వస్తున్నారు, అది ఇంపార్టెంట్. వచ్చిన వాడు రోజు మంచిగా కూడా అవుతాడు, అది ఇంపార్టెంట్. బట్ డోంట్ కంపేర్ దెమ్ విత్ మెటలిస్టిక్ పీపుల్ అవుట్ సైడ్ హూ విల్ నెవర్ కమ్ టు సత్సంగ్. మీ చిన్ననాటి స్నేహితుడు ఉన్నాడు, ఎప్పుడు మన ఇంటికి వస్తాడు, మన బర్త్డేలకు, మన యానివర్సరీలకు, హిల్ కమ్, హిల్ డూ సో మెనీ, మీరు ఎంత మంచి వాళ్ళు, మీ గురించి పోయి జపం చేయిస్తాడు, మీ గురించి చేస్తాడు. సత్సంగం రమ్మంటే మాత్రం రాడు. సరే, మా సత్సంగం పోకు, ఇంకో సత్సంగం, నేను అక్కడ పోను. కొంచెం కిలికితే ఏం చెప్తారో తెలుసా? భగవంతుడు లేడండి, ఎందుకు, మన పుణ్యం మనం చేసుకోవాలంటాడు. నాకు గురువు అవసరం లేదంటాడు. ఇంకో కేటగిరీ, నాకు గురువు వద్దండి, నేను భగవంతుడు డైరెక్ట్ అంటాడు. వీళ్ళంతా ఎవరు అనుకుంటున్నారు? వీళ్ళంతా మెటలిస్టిక్ పీపుల్. అంటే వాళ్ళు ఈ ప్రపంచాన్ని వాడుకోవడానికి వచ్చారు. మనం కూడా అట్లే వచ్చాం. ఒకటే తేడా ఉంది, మనం వాడుకోవడానికి వచ్చాము, కానీ ఇప్పుడు వాడడానికి రెడీ అవుతున్నాం. వాడుకోవడానికి రెడీ అవుతుంది అంటే మనని కృష్ణుడు వాడుకోవాలని మనం ముందుకు వస్తున్నాం. వాళ్ళు రారు. Did you understand, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Always remember this one principle, Mataji. Good outside is worse than bad inside. Even if that bad is there, you're still inside. ఇంట్లో పట్టినాం, అది కరోనా వచ్చింది అనుకోండి. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్, కరోనా వచ్చింది. ఇంట్లో కరోనా పేషెంట్తో ఉండటం బెటరా, బయటికి పోయి తిరగటం బెటరా? రెండు ప్రాబ్లమే, కానీ ఇంట్లో ఇంకా స్టిల్ బెటర్. నేను ఇంట్లో ఉన్నా, సరే పేషెంట్ ఉన్నాడు, ఏం చేస్తాం? ఐ హావ్ టు టేక్ కేర్, ఐ విల్ బీ విత్ హిమ్. బయటికి పోతే అందరు కరోనా, ఎవడు కరోనా తెలియదు. It's better to deal with a devotee who is in mode of ignorance than to deal with a materialistic person in mode of goodness. Because the materialistic person is dangerous. That materialistic person will attract you towards bhoga and aishwarya. Materialistic person ఏం చేస్తాడు? భోగ ఐశ్వర్యానికి గుంజుతాడు. కాస్ట్లీ వస్తువులకు అట్రాక్ట్ చేస్తాడు, కాస్ట్లీ అలవాట్లకి అట్రాక్ట్ చేస్తాడు. రైట్? అన్నిటి మనం డైవర్ట్ చేస్తాడు డివోషన్ నుంచి. ఇది కూడా చేశారా, ఈ నామం కూడా చేశారా, ఈ సహస్రనామం చేశారా, అది చేశారా, ఇది అవన్నీ చేస్తామండి. మీరు సత్సంగాన్ని అది మాత్రం రాను, నేను సత్సంగాన్ని మాత్రం రాను. నేను లలిత సహస్రనామం చేస్తాను, విష్ణు సహస్రనామం చేస్తాను, జపం కూడా చేస్తాను, అప్పుడు కాలం రిచువలిస్టిక్గా చేస్తాను. నేను సత్సంగాన్ని మాత్రం రాను. నాకు చెప్పకు ఏం చేయాలి, నేను విన్నాను, నేనే నా గురువు. మెటలిస్టిక్, పయస్ మెటలిస్టిక్ పర్సన్. మెటలిస్టిక్ రెండు ఉంటారు, pure materialistic and pious materialist. Radheshan Prabhu explains pious materialistic people who appear to be like, they are practicing some devotion, but they are not. They are just pious. అన్ని మంచి కార్యాలు చేస్తుంటారు అంతే. రైట్? ప్రతి 6 నెలలకు ఒకసారి తిరుపతి పోదాం, 3 నెలలకు ఒకసారి శ్రీశైలం పోదాం, లింగాన్ని మీద అభిషేకం చేద్దాం, డూ ఆల్ దిస్. బట్ చాంటింగ్ ఏమనండి చేయరు, చాంటింగ్ చేయరు. సత్సంగం ఏమన్నా రారు. నేను రాను సత్సంగాన్ని, నాకు వద్దు ఇవన్నీ. వచ్చి కూడా అదే చేస్తారు సత్సంగంలో వచ్చి. బట్ దట్ ఈస్ స్టిల్ బెటర్. ఐ హావ్ సీన్ డివోటీస్ హూ హావ్ కమ్ టు సత్సంగ్ ఆఫ్టర్ 15 years దే హావ్ చేంజ్డ్. 15 years, 10 ఏళ్ళ తర్వాత చిన్న చేంజ్ వచ్చింది అలా. బట్ దే ఆర్ స్టిల్ బెటర్. కృష్ణ ఈస్ కన్సిడరింగ్ దెమ్ సెయింట్లీ బికాస్ అట్లీస్ట్ దే ఆర్ ఇన్ ద రైట్ అసోసియేషన్. సో హౌ షుడ్ ఐ బిలీవ్ విత్ అవుట్సైడ్ పీపుల్? Materialistic people, I should be respectful to them, but don't take their association. Only the people who come to satsang, we should take association from them, even though they are faulty. Because one thing they are doing good is they are coming to satsang. They are coming to hospital. Hospital కి వచ్చినోడికి జబ్బు పోతుంది, రానోడికి ఎట్లా పోతుంది? వాడు హాస్పిటల్కి వచ్చాడు, అతను హాస్పిటల్కి వచ్చాడు, అచ్చారు బాబు యొక్క రెగ్యులర్గా వస్తున్నాడు. హూ ఆర్ ద పీపుల్ హూ లీవ్ సత్సంగ్? సమ్ రీజన్ దే విల్ గివ్, బట్ దే లీవ్ సత్సంగ్. హూ? ద పీపుల్ వాంట్ టు ఎంజాయ్ దిస్ వరల్డ్ అండ్ దే గెట్ అట్రాక్టెడ్ టు పీపుల్ outside satsang. The people who think this world is an experience to elevate our consciousness never leave satsang. గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి, ఇంకా రూట్ రీజన్ ఇది. ఏంటంటే ఈ ప్రపంచాన్ని ఎంజాయ్ చేయడానికి ఎవరైతే వస్తారో వాళ్ళు సత్సంగానికి రారు, వాళ్ళు సత్సంగంలో ఉండరు కూడా. దీక్ష తీసుకొని కూడా వారిపోతారు అప్పుడప్పుడు. అన్ఫార్చునేట్లీ they'll get initiated also, they'll run away because they can only see faults in devotees. వాళ్ళకి కావాల్సిన నాతో మంచిగా ఉండేటోళ్ళు, మంచిగా ఉండేటోళ్ళు, మంచి మాట్లాడేటోళ్ళు, మంచి చూస్తున్నావు, కానీ ఈ మంచి చెడు నుంచి పైకి పోవట్లేదు, మంచి చెడే చూస్తున్నావు. రైజ్ యువర్ సెల్ఫ్ అబోవ్. ఇక్కడ నారాయణుడు ఏం చేస్తున్నాడు, విష్ణుమూర్తి దూతులు ఏం చేస్తున్నారు? They only saw one thing, he chanted. They're not saying he was with a prostitute, he did this, he did that, he had 10 children, he did murders, they're not saying all. He chanted Narayana's name, he is in satsang. Come. And they are giving him an opportunity. Right? But the materialistic people who might be good, who might be doing all good, they will give charity. Tomorrow if you build a temple to ISKCON also, they'll give charity. But they will not come to satsang. I have told this many times. I have told this many times to everybody because I have understood this from my Siksha Guru very clearly. Bandamida raskondi, please write it in your thick line, to protect yourself. Don't associate with people who don't come to satsang, whether they are devotees or non-devotees.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Not only in satsang.
Don't take their association. Somebody might be wearing a kantimala, never comes to any satsang. Thank you very much. Very dangerous. You should encourage them. Babu, Randi, my problem enti? Randi. Ma pilgadu. Ma amma. Distance. Work. Ivanni Maya. The people who are coming to satsang, regularly coming to satsang, you won't leave an opportunity to serve in satsang. They are the most important people in your life. Whether they are chanting purely, whether they are not chanting purely, whether they have bad habits, whether they are telling filthy words, whether they are struggling with it, still that is better. They are coming to satsang. One day they'll become pure. But the people who are not coming to satsang, whether they are devotees or non-devotees, I'm sorry to tell this. Be very careful. I'm doing good for the whole world. I'm doing good for everybody. I am doing everything nice, but I'm not coming to satsang. No. I will not come to any physical satsang. I'll only sit and hear in the Zoom. You'll go to Zoom planet. I was telling you, right? Zoom planet. You don't have any value for devotees. You can't take time out to go and serve devotees. What kind of association you're talking about? This, if I ask all of you to open your screens, you will know. I will know what you're doing right now. Out of 23 people who are there in the call, maybe 3 are attending right now. Remaining all are doing, I don't know what. I don't want to know also. Because this is not satsang. Satsang is this is an adjustment. Ollu ongaka, nadu ongaka, inlala kusoni Zoom call pettukundi. This adjustment. Something is better than, but this is better. Devotees who are still coming to this call are better than people who have seen the invite but they don't want to attend. Whenever senior devotees come, they don't look at how many people. I've told this many times. They don't look at how many people are attending the satsang. They look at how many people are coming again and again. When Radhesham Prabhu comes, he looks at whom? Subara Prabhu. Every time is there. Praveen Prabhu, every time is there. Like this. He keeps looking at devotees. And sometimes you look at some, then Prabhuji, he asks me, oh, that devotee sitting on the back, does he come regularly? Hey, Prabhuji, he comes only when you come. Then I should ignore that fellow. Because he is after name and fame. He is not after seva. Or the devotee, Prabhuji, he just, very rarely comes. Okay. We are looking for moons, not for stars. Right? Not for stars. We are not looking for, expanding the preaching is to find those moons. And to find a moon, sometimes you have to search in the sky. But the moon can be visible. Right? After so many years of preaching effort, we have some devotees who are getting fixed. But even now there are some devotees who come to satsang, but they're not fixed, but they're better because they're coming to satsang. But some devotees leave the satsang. And not only leave, they will go and tell others also, why don't you also leave? Are you not seeing the faults that I'm seeing? Very dangerous association. Very, very dangerous association. Because you're not grateful. Why did we go into this route of materialistic people in goodness are better than, or devotees who are in mode of ignorance are better? Why did we go into this discussion? Is because in this verse, Ajamil is grateful to the Vishnu Dutas, to the Supreme Lord, to the reciprocation of Supreme Lord for little piety. Swalpam apis dharmasam. Whatever little he did in the beginning is grateful. Gratefulness is bhakti. You should become grateful to the devotees who are coming to the satsang. When you look at a devotee who is struggling, who has come to satsang last 20 years, 15 years, 10 years, is still struggling with materialistic, qualities, materialistic habits, materialistic way of talking. Be very grateful that he is there in the satsang. And when you look at him, just think that, oh my God, he is becoming a devotee. I am not becoming a devotee. He's slowly changing. Slowly changing. There was one devotee. He was allowing his wife to go. He was not coming. Then he came, but he was not following anything. And he was not following anything, but he was commenting. And then he was commenting, but the only thing, he started coming. And he became regular to satsang in few weeks. Now recently he took Kantimala. On Narsing Chaturdashi, he took Kantimala. How did this change come? Because he's coming to satsang. Even yesterday he was in satsang. I was looking at him. Hare Krishna. What a wonderful devotee. He is more advanced than me. He is so faithful that by coming to satsang, he is changing and he is becoming. But coming to satsang, satsang ranolak mir waste. But if satsang has even 2 people, you don't need 10 people. Prabhuji, he is running a batch, he has 60 people, I'm only getting 2 people. Because you can only cater to 2 people. Krishna empowers you according to your sincerity. So become sincere first. And continue to do what you're doing. Sincerity means not to stop. Prabhu, you overrotted, Prabhu, should I continue? Yeah, continue, because that is for your purification. Preaching is a service, not a privilege. Continue. And then you'll become grateful to Krishna. Even though I'm so unqualified, still you are sending people to my house so I can serve them. I can repeat what you have told. Gratefulness. Ajamila became grateful. And that gratefulness transformed him to completely leave what he was unnecessarily doing, and then he became fixed. Yeah. So somebody had any question? After that, I'll read forward.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji.
Dandavat Pranam.
You talked about association, Prabhuji, not only in satsang, even outside also, schools and colleges also. If the association is not good, many children are spoiling their lives, even though the parents are good, everything, their background is good, at home, everything is so nice. But because of the association, because of the people, those who are around, they are spoiling. It will be there, Prabhuji.
Yes, yes. But what I'm specifically for devotees, this discussion I will not have outside. This discussion I will not have outside. Specifically for devotees, I'm telling one thing. Warning. A good materialistic person is dangerous than a bad spiritual person. Ardhamainda? A good materialistic person in mode of sattva guna is dangerous than a devotee who is in mode of ignorance.
That is because the materialistic person can take us away from Krishna at any point of time.
That's it. That's it. Get this one. Thank you so much. Get this one point in your heads. If you get this one point in your heads, you will go back to Krishna. Because that is where Maya is. Maya ekkada unnadi. iPhone lo ledu Maya. Pedda pedda car lo ledu Maya. Pedda pedda illalo ledu Maya. Maya is not there. Maya is sitting here. Right in your mind, it is sitting here. And it will take you away from Krishna in the name of piety, in the name of goodness, in the name of... How does Maya attract you? Prabhuji, I'll give a small example. I told this in SSR also. Sorry if I'm repeating it. When Western people wanted to attack India, they introduced television. And there was Doordarshan. And they thought somehow, the industrialist people, they want to attract. What did they do? What was the first thing that came in Indian television? Fashion TV? Jabardast comedy? What came?
News.
No. News? It was coming in radio also. But what made the entire country stick to the television?
Movies.
Ramayana. Ramanand Sagar Ramayana brought the whole India to the television. Till that time, they never went to television. Movies also did not attract them. A lot of people would not be caring to see movies. Ramayana serial brought them to television. And in between that Ramayana serial, the ad started. Washing powder, Nirma. Washing powder, Nirma. This Dulai ever started? Ramayana serial started. They know these Indians. They are attracted to devotional, things. Let me attack to that. Then, I'm not against Ramayana. Just understand the reason why I'm taking the example. Then Mahabharata started. The highest attendance. Even now, when Mahabharata came in Star Plus, the recently made Mahabharata, forget about good or bad, maximum viewership around the whole India came for that Mahabharata. And they know that. It's not that they don't know, they know that. Right? The same way, Prabhuji and Mataji's, materialistic people will attract you through these goodies, good behavior, nice talk, nice everything. You go on a morning walk, they'll come to you. Oh, very nice. You stay here? Well, I also stay here. Oh, you can. I teach you yoga. You can come here. We also are going to yoga. Why don't you also come there? Actually, it's good for health. You don't eat this. You eat that. Do this. You don't do that. You do this. Yeah. Madam, can you come to satsang? I don't have time. Madam, we are doing something nice. Can you just come and hear some Bhagavad Gita? No, we don't believe in all that. If they're trying that, then we don't believe in all that. Or famous answer, I will send my parents, I will send my children, teach slokas to my children. What are these people? Externally, don't see their bodies. They are people who have come to enjoy this world. Remember that one thing. They are people who have come to enjoy this world. They are finding means and ways to enjoy this world. And sometimes to enjoy this world, you also behave nicely. Because you want to enjoy this world. You behaving nicely is not a significance of any goodness. You are behaving nicely because you want to enjoy this world. Because you will lose, for example, in your society, if you behave in a wrong way, they'll throw you out of the society. So even if I don't like the managing committee, I don't like these people, I don't like my neighbor, I'll still behave nicely because I want to enjoy the facilities. These are called materialistic people. They'll go to temple also. They'll do everything nice also. They'll give charity also. But they'll not come to satsang. The satsang means surrender. Satsang means what? You have to listen to the words of the person who's conducting satsang and follow those things. I am not trying to follow anything. I'll only follow when I want to follow. Okay, don't. But if you're coming to satsang, that means you are showing an indication to the Supreme Lord, I want to come back to you. And that's exactly what Ajamil is doing now. What Ajamil is going to do now is he going to surrender to Supreme Lord by going to Haridwar. I'll just read it out. Read the translations quickly. 34. Vachaham kitva papo brahma gino nirapatrapa vacha nara yaneti etad Bhagavan nama mangalam. Ajamila continued. I'm a shameless teacher, a cheater, who has killed his Brahmanical culture. Indeed, I am sinful personified. Whether am I in comparison to the all auspicious chanting of the holy name of the Lord Narayana? Right? He's so grateful. Oh Krishna, I just chanted. I'm such a sinner. But the all auspicious chanting of the holy name of the Lord Narayana. Where am I in comparison? Right? So he's grateful. 35. So aham tatha yatishyami yata chittendriya nila yatha na bhuya atmanam andhe tamasi majjaye. I am such a sinful person, but since I have now gotten this opportunity, I must completely control my mind, life, and senses, and always engage in the devotional service so that I may not fall again into the deep darkness and ignorance of material life. Now he knows what he should not do. Prabhuji's, our children, if they are coming to satsang, be happy. They are hearing the class. Oh, we try to push them. Okay, come and sit. But their coming to satsang itself is happiness. Because one day they'll become a devotee. But if your children are not coming to satsang, Bida, you are in trouble. You are in big trouble. I always encourage. Sometimes I send somebody go get them. Because something they'll learn. The opportunity to learn something is there. Some medicine they'll get. But if your children are telling you, bore, I mean, you have set a wrong example for them, something in the house, and they are in bad association. They are in bad association. What you should do now? Bring them to satsang. Yena kena prakarena. Bring them to satsang. Buy what they like to eat. Buy what they like to enjoy. But bring them to satsang. Why? Because if they come to satsang, there is a change. If they go outside satsang, Prabhus, they are gone. Don't think, they are children. No, they are not children. They are all souls with millions of births. Our children also. Yeah. See, outside youngsters, they come to ISKCON, and our children coming to ISKCON are two different things. Outside children came by their choice when they heard some lecture, when they heard. So they are actually Vaishnavas who are choosing Vishnu. But some of our children who have taken birth in our houses, maybe forcefully they came to satsang because we have become devotees. They are not devotees yet. But you are only due to bring them to satsang. You can't, Prabhuji, మా అమ్మాయి చాలా మంచిది ప్రభుజీ ఆయన సత్సంగా రాదు ప్రభు కానీ అయిపోయినావు నువ్వు మాయలో ఉన్నావు నీ బిడ్డ మాయలో అండర్స్టాండ్ దిస్ వన్ యూ హ్యావ్ టు బ్రింగ్ దెమ్ టు సత్సంగ్ ఏనకేన ప్రకారం లెట్ దెమ్ కమ్ బీ దేర్ అట్లీస్ట్ సమ్ there are some people they came to satsang but never came to the class. They were sitting outside. But one day they came into the class. How? One devotee went and spoke to them outside. They just had a chit chat, and over a period of time, they saw good qualities in some devotees. They saw some seva. Slowly, they came into the class. It is possible. If you don't bring them to satsang itself, how will they become Krishna conscious? No, Prabhuji, I think they will choose when they have to choose. Maybe that will also happen. I'm not saying it will not happen. But what you're doing now is a big risk. Of course. Life is going to beat you. Materialistic life is going to give you whips. No matter how much money you have, no matter how much education you have, you are going to get the whips. Taka, 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 you will get it. Then you'll automatically come. But you can come now also. But give them the experience. Give them the feeling of community. Give services to your children. Engage them some other. Yesterday, you have seen, I told my son, he was sitting behind and, he was talking to his friend. I told, hold the camera. Have you seen that? Just hold the camera. Take the camera. Cover the Abhishekam. Jagannath Abhishekam. Just cover the Abhishekam. Why do you think I told that? I could have given that to anybody else, right? I could have given that to Mahesh Prabhu. He would have covered like this also. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Why did I ask my son to cover? Some service. Some service. Someday. Some glimpse of that service will make him feel part of the satsang. And in that age, a teenage, which is very, very vulnerable, he might develop some attraction for devotees and satsang. some service. Yena kena prakaran. Bring them. Because they'll be gone in few other years. Most of the team children are satsang, they'll be gone. After that, you will not have any control. Till the time they are here, bring them to satsang. If they're not interested, create that interest. Give some incentive. Because a person in satsang is better than a person who is not in satsang. This applies to everybody. Our children also, our parents also. Most important, us. Prabhuji, this Sunday, I'm not coming to satsang because I have to go to Chennai. I'm already worried about what will happen to me on the weekend. But I'm going to a devotees function in Chennai. I'm going to a devotees function in Chennai. But still, I'm scared. Because I know my true nature. My true nature, if you all know, you will not hear to this class. I know. I can't tell lie to God. I can't tell lie to myself. I am scared of getting drifted away from satsang. Even if I have differences with my superior, I still like to surrender to that superior. Because that will keep me in satsang. It will keep me in seva. Okay, na? Everybody got the point? Any questions? Okay. Shloka number 35. So aham tata yatishyami yatha chetandriyanila yatha na bhuya atmanam ande tamasi madjaye. I am such a sinful person, but since I've gotten this opportunity, I must completely control my mind, life and senses, and always engage in devotional service so that I am not fallen again into the deep darkness and ignorance of the material life. Prabhupada says, every one of us should have this determination. We have been elevated to an exalted position by the mercy of Krishna and the spiritual master. And if we remember that, this is a great opportunity and pray to Krishna that we will not fall again. Our lives will become successful, will be successful. Prabhupada is saying, be in the association of devotees. Vimuchyatam idam bandham avidya kama karmajam sarvabhuta sufrut chanto maitra karuna atmavan mochaye grastam atmanam yoshin mayatma mayaya vikridito jayaivaham krida mrag ivadhama. Because of identifying oneself with the body, one is subjected to desires for sense gratification, and thus one engages in many different types of pious and impious action. This is what constitutes material bondage. Now, I shall disentangle myself from my materialistic bondage, which has been caused by the Supreme Personality of Godhead's illusionary energy in the form of a woman. Being a most fallen soul, I am victimized by the illusionary energy and have become like a dancing dog led around by a woman's hand. Now I shall give up all lusty desires and free myself from this illusion. I shall become a merciful, well-wishing friend and all living entities, to all living entities, and always absorb myself in Krishna consciousness. Now he is like very, very clear. He is understood what he was, what he did, and where he has to go. I think it's self-explanatory translation. Purport also pretty much speaks the same thing. So I'm going forward. Text 38. Mamaham iti dehadau hitva mityartha dhirmatim dasye mano bhagavati shuddham tat kirtanadibhi. Simply because I chanted the holy name of the Lord in the association of devotees, my heart is now becoming purified. Please hear the sentence again. Simply because I chanted the holy name of the Lord in the association of devotees. Ajamil is telling, both in the association of devotees. Now my heart has become purified. Therefore, I shall not fall victim again to the false lures of the material sense gratification. Now that I have become fixed in the absolute truth. Henceforward, I shall not identify myself with the body. I shall give up false conceptions of I and mine and fix my mind on the lotus feet of Krishna. Hare Krishna. Text 39. Iti jata sunirveda Kshana Sangena Sadhushu Ganga Dwaram Upeyaya Mukha Sarvanubandhana. Because of a moment's association with the devotee, the Vishnu Dutas, Ajamila detached himself from the material conception of life with determination. Thus, freed from all material attraction, he immediately started for Haridwar. He understood. Now I have to fix up. Right? Prabhupada writes, the word Mukha Sarvanubhavan Bandhana indicates that after this incident, Ajamila, not caring for his wife and children, went straight to Haridwar for further advancement in spiritual life. For our Krishna conscious movement now has centers in Vrindavan and Navadvipa, so that those who want to live a retired life, whether they be devotees or not, can go there and with determination give up the bodily conception of life. One is welcome to live in those holy places for the rest of his life in order to achieve the highest success by very simple method of chanting the holy names of the Lord and taking prasada. Thus, one may return home back to Godhead. We do not have a center in Haridwar, but Vrindavana and Sridham Mayapur are better for devotees than any other places. The Chaitanya Chandrodaya temple offers one a good opportunity to associate with devotees. Let us all take advantage of the opportunity. Even Prabhupada is writing again and stay in devotees, go to the dham, stay with devotees. Not telling go to the dham, stay in your room. Stay with devotees. Satasmin deva sadhana asino yogam asita pratyahridaye pratyahritendriya gramo yuyoja mana atmani. In Haridwar, Ajamila took shelter at the Vishnu temple where he executed the process of Bhakti Yoga. He controlled his senses and fully applied his mind in the service of the Lord. Hare Krishna. This is Ajamila's example. Prabhupada is saying we should do what he has done. Tata gunebhya atmanam vignyatma samadhina yuyuje bhavadhamni brahmani anubhavatmani. Ajamila, fully engaged in devotional service, thus he detached his mind from the process of sense gratification and became fully absorbed in thinking of the form of the Lord. Now he is getting fixed. In association with chanting the holy names of God, he is becoming fixed. So Prabhupada in the example is explaining what yogis. So one who worships the deity in the temple, one's mind will naturally become absorbed, will be absorbed in thought of the Lord and his form. There is no distinction between the form of the Lord and Lord himself. Therefore, Bhakti Yoga is the most easy system of yoga. Yogis try to concentrate their minds upon the form of the Super Soul, Vishnu, within the heart. But the same objective is easily achieved when one's mind is absorbed in the deity worship in the temple. In every temple, there is a transcendental form of the Lord, and one may easily think of this form. By seeing the Lord during Aarti, by offering bhoga, and by constantly thinking of the form of the deity, one becomes a first-class yogi. This is the best process of yoga as confirmed by Supreme Personality of Godhead in Bhagavad Gita 6.47. Yoginam api sarvesham mat gadenantaratmanaha. Shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yuktatmano mata. Of all yogis, he who always abides in me with great faith, worships me in transcendental loving service, is most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. The first-class yogi is one who controls his senses and detaches himself from the material activities by always thinking of the form of the Lord. 42. Right. Yeah, a second. Here, yarhi uparat dishtashmin adrakshit purushan pura upalabdhyo palabdhan prag vavande shirasadvija. When his intelligence and mind were fixed upon the form of the Lord, the Brahmana Ajamila once again saw before him the four celestial persons. He could understand that they were those he had seen previously, and thus he offered them his obeisances by bowing down his head. So Vishnu again came to rescue him. Text 43. Hitva kalevaram tirthe Gangayam Darshanadanu Sadhya Swarupam Jagrahe Bhagavat Parshrava Vartinam. Upon seeing the Vishnudutas, Ajamila gave up his material body at Haridwar on the banks of the Gangas. He regained his original spiritual body, which was a body appropriate for an associate of the Lord. Hare Krishna. He Janma Karma Chamedivyam Evam Yatatuta. Prabhupada is quoting this shloka. That just by chanting, he regained and he's ready to go to a place from where he's not going to return. 44. Sakyam Vihaya Vipro Mahapurusha Kinkarai Hainam Vimanam Arhya Yayau Yatra Shriyapati. Accompanied by the order carriers of Lord Vishnu, Ajamila boarded an airplane made of gold. Passing through the airways, he went directly to the abode of Lord Vishnu, the husband of the goddess of fortune. Hare Krishna. I'll read the purport. For many years, material scientists have tried to go to the moon, but they are still unable to go there. However, the spiritual airplanes from the spiritual planets can take one back home, back to Godhead in a second. The speed of such a spiritual plane can only be imagined. Spirit is finer than the mind, and everyone has experience of how swiftly the mind travels from one place to another. Therefore, one can imagine the swiftness of the spiritual form by comparing it to the speed of the mind. In less than even a moment, a perfect devotee can return home back to Godhead immediately after giving up this material body. Hare Krishna, so fast we are all going to go. Hari bol, Hari bol, Hari bol. Evam sab viplavita sarva dharma dasya patito grahya karmana nipat yamano niraye hata vrata sadhyo vimukto bhagavan nama grahnan. Ajamila was a Brahmana who, because of bad association, had given up all Brahmanical culture and religious principles. Becoming most fallen, he stole, drank, and performed other abominable acts. He even kept a prostitute. Thus, he was destined to be carried away to hell by the order carriers of Yamaraja. But he was immediately rescued simply by a glimpse of the chanting of the holy names of Narayana. Nata param karma nibandha krintanam mumukshatam tirtha padanu kirtanat nayat puna karmashu sajjate mano rajas tamobhyam kalilam tato anyatha. Therefore, one who desires freedom from material bondage should adopt the process of chanting and glorifying the name, fame, forms, and pastimes of Supreme Personality of Godhead, and whose feet at whose feet all the holy places stand. One cannot derive the proper benefit from other methods such as pious atonement, speculative knowledge, and meditation in mystic yoga, because even after following such methods, one takes to fruitive activities, again unable to control his mind, which is contaminated with the base qualities of nature, namely passion and ignorance. Fruitive activities means passion and ignorance. Get it very, very clearly. 47 and 48. Ya etam paramam guhyam ya etam paramam guhyam itihasam agapaham shrinuyach Chadraya yukto chadra dhaya yukto yascha bhakyanu kirtayet navaisa narakam yati nekshito yama kinkarai yadi api amangalo mrityo vishnuloke mahiyate. Because this very conditional, this very confidential historical, now please hear this, everybody, very important. Because this very confidential historical narration has the potency to vanquish all sinful reactions. One who hears or describes it with faith and devotion is no longer doomed to hellish life, regardless of his having a material body and regardless of how sinful he may have been. Indeed, the Yamadutas who carry out the orders of Yamaraja do not approach him even to see him. After giving up his body, he returns home back to Godhead, whether he is very respectfully received, where he is very respectfully received and worshipped. If you're just hearing this chapter, you're going back to Krishna. Last verse, 49. Mriyamano harer nama grinan putro pacharitam ajamilo api agadhama kim uta shraddhaya grinan. While suffering at the time of death, Ajamila chanted the holy name of the Lord, and although the chanting was directed towards his son, he nevertheless returned home back to Godhead. Therefore, if one faithfully and inoffensively chants the holy name of the Lord, where in doubt, he will return. One second, I'll read it again. Therefore, if one faithfully and inoffensively chants the holy name of the Lord, where is the doubt? That he will return to God? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. There is a commentary of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur which is being explained here in the Srimad Bhagavatam, but it's mostly dealing with what we already discussed. Thus ends the Bhakti and the purports of the 6th canto, 2nd chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Ajamila, delivered by the Vishnu Dutas. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Can you see Ajamil's picture here? Vishnu Dutas are taking him. He's climbing the golden aeroplane. Right? You can see here is Ajamil, Vishnu Dutas are taking him. And here is a picture of the discussion between Vishnu Dutas and Yamadutas, and Ajamila is stuck in between. So, Prabhuji and Matajis, thank you for joining. Today is a Monday, Ekadashi, a very passionate day for a materialistic person, but a very, very important day for devotees. So, I would not take more time. If some of you have to chant your rounds, some of you may not have finished. So, please go ahead and do that. On Ekadashi day, we don't want to delay rounds. I would only end this call once again, re-emphasizing that we are very fortunate that we got this association. Don't see faults in devotees. Because if devotees start seeing faults in you, there won't be a satsang for you. If devotees are tolerating you, you have to tolerate devotees. Whatever you do, stay in satsang. Don't go outside. In whatever name, stay away from two kinds of people. Materialistic people who don't come to satsangs are danger number one. Right? More dangerous than them are devotees who don't go to satsangs, because they will completely ruin your devotional life. Be very careful with them. Whatever reason they give, forget about it. Okay, of course, health reasons sometimes, some few weeks, few months, different thing. But categorically, I am in Zoom call, I don't go to satsang. I am in here, I don't see anymore, I don't go to temple. All this is sheer Maya at its peak. Be very careful. No matter what good, no matter what kind of pious activities they are doing, if they're not going to their Siksha Gurus, if they're not physically, personally giving time to go and serve them, if you're not able to see good in devotees around you, what good you will see in devotees who are far away from you? Right? This is all illusion. You are pulling yourself into Maya. So be very careful. Our only priority is to be with devotees who are coming to satsang. For the devotees who are not coming to satsang, encourage them. But don't get encouraged to go with them. Encourage the devotees to come to you, come to satsang, but you don't get encouraged hearing their words to go away from satsang. And Zoom is not a satsang. It is a via media, making it work for a satsang, but come to the physical satsang. Make yourself available. You can't do a Zoom Rath Yatra. You have to be there outside the Zoom to do Rath Yatra, to serve in the Rath Yatra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Any question? One question I can take and then we will close it. Or devotees who are officers can start signing off.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Yes, please.
In the last, it says Jamila actually got purified and like achieved his own nature, right? Which is what we are talking about, that we are a pure soul, and this has achieved it. And then went to Vaikuntha Loka. Now, when we see, or say, when I see so much faults in me, or say so many things inside me, the anarthas, and I don't know whether how many lifetimes it will take to purify. Okay, this, and it is not too long. Also, in this life that is left as well. So not to so basically, that the purification, until the purification happens, we will not, or say we will not achieve the purity of ourselves, or say when we remove the contamination and become a pure, we can't go. So I don't know how many lifetimes. I know I have full faith on the process, okay, but not in myself. So how that we can actually take that as a
what you're speaking, what I have in my heart also, Prabhu. But when I asked this question to my seniors, they told a simple answer, that Krishna doesn't look for the most pure soul. Krishna looks for a surrendered soul. Okay? Krishna just looks for a surrendered soul. Purification, he'll take care. What purification we can do with so many desires, so many remembrances, so many, musty thoughts? What purification will come into us? It's very difficult. But if we surrender to him, he'll take care of everything. Just like when we get cancer, you can't cure cancer sitting in the house. You have to surrender to the doctor, and he'll put you through chemotherapy, radiation, this, that, or some panchagavya, whatever it is. If you surrender, purification is guaranteed. Most important thing that we all should think for is surrender. And surrender means obedience. Obedience. Obedience to serve the Supreme Lord in association with devotees. That's the most important thing. Most important thing. And today in the class, I'm repeating it again and again and again. The same Gita Pita point. But that is the most important point. If you are coming to satsang, you are giving a clear indication to Krishna that Krishna, even though I'm seeing faults in me, even though I'm seeing faults in others, but still I'm coming to your satsang because I don't see any faults in you. And your instruction is completely faultless. And entire Bhagavatam is talking about being in association. So I'm following what you're telling, and that is surrender. And that surrender, as long as we keep, even though, your Shiksha Guru might be a rascal, person sitting on the Vyasasan might be a cheater, whatever it might happen, I am going to satsang because Krishna, you asked me to go. You take care of the remaining. Ab tumhare hospital mein doctor galat hai, to main kya karu? You fix the doctors. That is my business is not to fix my Shiksha Guru. My business is not to fix like when you go to the hospital, do you want to fix the doctors? No. You just go there telling, Bhaiya, give me the treatment. Right? Same way satsang also. Be surrendered. Surrendered means to go and to give our time dedicatedly, to participate in all the satsang activities actively. And if you can see, Prabhu, our satsang has so many services. And they're not stopping. Have you seen any month without any services? रुकता ही नहीं है. एक के बाद एक रथ यात्रा, उसके बाद जन्माष्टमी के बाद भद्रपुण्य के बाद फिर मैराथन, उससे पहले एक और फेस्टिवल, उससे पहले ये, उससे पहले वो. This who is creating? Krishna is creating for purifying all of us. If you are surrendered, part of the satsang, remaining will take care. We cannot purify ourselves. By being with the pure, surrounded by the pure, chanting the pure, listening the pure, we will become pure. We will become pure. Thanks for tolerating me.
Okay, thank you.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Srimad Bhagavatam Grandha ki jai, Srimad Jamil ki jai, Vishnu Dutas ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hare. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for the wonderful session.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji, for joining.
Jai Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam. Thank you very much. Wonderful session. Thank you.
Vancha kalpadambhasya kripasindubhya pattanam pavnebhyo vaishnavabhyo ananta koti vaishnavavriddhi ki jai.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Hare Krishna.